Hey, what's happening? Chris Martinez here, host of Operation Agency Freedom, your favorite podcast, obviously. Today, I'm going to talk about something that is incredibly not sexy, which is why you need to have job descriptions for all of your team members. Now, I know what you're saying. I don't want to do that. It sounds so corporate, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, if you want to get the most out of your people, you have to have job descriptions. So if you have team members right now, if you feel like you're not getting the most out of every single team member, and if you want to be able to create a clear path for team members to grow within your agency and not leave, then you definitely want to listen to this episode. And at the end of this episode, if I make any comments about like links or notes or anything like that, go to the website, go to dudeagency.io and check out the show notes because we put all the things that I mentioned in there. Sometimes I just like think of random stuff and I add it there. It's not in the script. And so the only way that you'll be able to get access to that is to go into the show notes on the website. And then of course, at the end of this episode, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast because it's going to make you better looking and it'll make you more intelligent and it'll just be really, really nice. So with that being said, let's head over and talk about some non-sexy stuff. All right. So the other day I was talking to one of my friends and she has an agency. The agency's just blown up. I want to say it's like tripled over the past year. So obviously with growth comes adding more team members, and the team, I think part of the realization is that the team that got her to, seven figures isn't necessarily the team that's going to get to multiple seven figures. And I think that's a moment that all of us have. And it doesn't mean that the team members that aren't cutting it right now are bad people. It's just the way that it goes, like if you think about it from a sports perspective, if you go from, I'm a soccer player. So if you go from like the championship to the Premier League, then it's probably not going to be the same team. They usually will bring in bigger players because you have more budget to invest in like world-class stars. So it's kind of like the same thing in running a business and especially running an agency. So we want to keep these people, right? A lot of these folks, like we have an emotional connection to, they've been with us through the really, really hard times. And now that times are getting a little bit better, we want to be able to bring them with us. But at the same time, there is a level of personal accountability that goes with that as well. We are giving you the opportunity and the tools to grow your own skills because you're here and we need you to be here. And I can't force you to learn, right? You've got to take the bull by the horns on your side and actually invest in yourself and grow your own skills. And if you do that, like you're going to be with us forever. You're going to make a ton more money. If you don't do that, then you're kind of digging your own grave. And that's the level of personal responsibility that those team members have to accept. Is that like, even though the company has grown, if I personally haven't grown, then my seat is not guaranteed. I have to almost like have respect for the company and acknowledge that like, this is not a free ride for anybody, that I am responsible for my own future and my own ability to continue to contribute. So, and that goes for agency owners too, just so you know, just because you hit multiple seven figures doesn't mean that you can just coast and you don't have to learn anymore. Everybody has to be committed to learning and growing. So with that being said, one of the things that you need to create that is totally corporate, and this is what my friend was telling me, by the way, getting back to that story, is that like the job descriptions, right? So like a lot of us, we start agencies because we hate the corporate stuff. We don't like having the HR department breathing down our neck and having to do paperwork. But there's a reason why those companies are successful and they're around for decades, if not, centuries. It's because there is some value in the corporate structure. And one of the things that I was telling my friend is like, you need to create these job descriptions. And even though I know that it feels kind of like constrictive and corporate, it will help you and it will help your team members moving forward, right? Because like you need to start to integrate these corporate-y things that are non-sexy and not fun to create if you want to get past, the multiple seven-figure mark. So job description. So this is like one of those very, very basic things that every agency needs to create. It's not easy necessarily, especially if you don't have like time tracking information, but it's super, super important. And it's going to be helpful for the team members, and they're going to appreciate you for it in the end as well. So the whole reason why you need job descriptions is because you need to be able to answer this question. All right. So write this down. You need to be able to answer the question, how do we measure whether a team member is successful in their role? How do we measure if a team member is successful in their role? Okay. Now, here's the key is that you need to be able to answer this question with facts and not feelings. Feelings are shit. As if you probably heard me say before, facts are what matter, right? And we take it in consideration, the feelings. Obviously, we're emotional beings because we're humans. But at the end of the day, when we're evaluating our team member, we need to start with the facts. We need to start with things like, how long is it taking you to do this deliverable? How many of those deliverables are you able to create? So your job descriptions actually have all that listed out. So it says, if you're a senior level, this is what you can do. This is the time frame that it takes. This is the software that you can do it in. It lists out all of those things, right? If somebody doesn't know how to do those things, guess what? They are not at that level and they don't get that like promotion. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't care about tenure. I think that like just giving bonuses because you've been here a long time is shit. I hate that. I think that you should reward people based on their skills. So if you're here for a month and you study every single night, you're practicing on your own, and in a month you're able to do the work of a senior level person, awesome. You get that promotion. Like we have tests where you can like literally just take a test and it'll tell us if you're at the level that we need you to be at. And if you are, then you can get a promotion very quickly and an increase in your salary. So the job descriptions help you to define what are the facts of your position. What do you need to be able to do? How fast are you able to do it? What's the quantity that you're able to do it? And then like other things like being on time for meetings, contributing to meetings, like creating lessons for other people, like contributing to the body of knowledge that we have here at the company, if you have that, like we do. Those are all requirements of that job. So at the bare minimum, like if you want to keep your job, you need to be doing X, Y, and Z. And then the next thing is that like, if you want to advance in the company, here's the next job description. And this is how we'll gauge whether or not you're ready to take on that next challenge. Now, just because you get to that next level doesn't mean that you're guaranteed that position forever. You're still going to be evaluated on your skills, right? And if you drop below what's expected, you're most likely not going to get a demotion. You're most likely going to get let go. So it's very fact-based. Like we don't reward people for doing a bad job. And I don't think you should either. You should hold a pretty firm line on performance standards, because what happens is that if you cut somebody a break, it'll end up pissing off all the other amazing performers who are busting their ass, right? And they're like, well, I'm working twice as hard as this person, and yet they still get to stay here. Your A players will not be too happy about that. So speaking of A players, while we're on the subject, your A players are the ones that are actually going to come to you and ask you, what do I need to do to advance? What do I need to do to be successful in my job? You might have people that are asking you those questions right now, and you don't have an answer for them. You don't have factual data to show them. And that's a problem, because eventually if you don't have that, then they're going to leave. So your A players, they're the ones who are going to come to you and they're going to actually ask you like, what can I do to improve? What can I learn to improve? Your best people, I'm telling you, I know this, your best people, the best people you will ever have are the ones who are coming to you and asking you for feedback. The ones who kind of don't care, or you can kind of tell that they're just hiding, right? They don't want feedback. They don't want to be measured. They don't want to have objective data presented to them about their job performance, because they're just kind of buying time, right? We don't necessarily want those people in the company. We only want to hire A players. The more A players we have, there is a direct proportion to the quickness at which you can scale your agency. If you have more A players who are all committed to the mission, you will grow very, very fast. There's just no way around it. Well, I would say, as long as you're a good leader, there's no way around it. The more A players you have who are all committed to the goal, they will follow you and things will happen very, very quickly. So, which is fantastic. So the A players, they need to see these job descriptions. They need to see the facts. They need to see how they're doing now and what they need to be able to advance. So that's very, very helpful. Like having those job descriptions will actually motivate those A players to perform even better so that they can get to that next level. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a financial reward. They just A players want to continue to improve. They want to continue to advance themselves. They want to invest in themselves. They want to continue to learn. They want to learn from great people as well. Those are the people that you want to surround yourself with in your company. Now, on the flip side, having the job descriptions is a fantastic way to start letting people go. So as you're scaling the agency, as I mentioned, a lot of the team members that you had that got you from 0 to $500,000, $500,000 to $1 million, they're not going to be the same team members that stay with you. And so you need to be able to objectively evaluate team members and make an objective decision as to when you're going to let somebody go. You can't just say, well, like, I don't like this person, or they said this one comment to me. Like sometimes those are valid, but you can't necessarily fire somebody just based on that. Maybe there was a misinterpretation. Maybe there was a cultural issue. We've seen team members struggle because they have a bad computer and they're embarrassed to ask us to buy them a new one, right? Like those things happen. So we want to be able to evaluate team members objectively. And if consistently they are not able to meet the requirements that we've laid out, and we've given them a performance improvement plan, we've given them tons of opportunities to learn and grow their own skills. Like some people, they just don't want to do anymore. They like just draw a line in the sand. They're just like, I'm here, I'm not moving, right? If that's the case, you have to let them go. And you shouldn't feel bad about it. You did everything you possibly could. Most of the time, us agency owners were too nice and we keep them around for too long. But we did everything humanly possible to help this individual be successful. And they just refused to move along with us. And that's okay. Now we set them free, we put them in the boat, we push them off, and we allow them to go find their next opportunity. And then for us, that frees up opportunity or budget so that we can go find somebody who is going to be the right fit and is going to accept the challenge that we've given them and basically learn all that they can so they can grow with us. So going back to everything starts with the job descriptions. Like you need to have these job descriptions created for every single position within the company. So it's not easy to do. I would advise you to do research, but guess what? At the same time, like this is something that Dude provides for our agencies. So if you feel like this is really important for you, just reach out. This is something that we do when you end up working with us. So with that being said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I know that this is a very dry topic. It's not fun to think about, and especially if you're an owner and you're like the classic visionary, like thinking about sitting down and creating this probably like makes you want to pull your hair out, but it's so unbelievably important. Trust me, I know. We implemented this at our company, and the quality of the team members that we retained and the level at which they were performing went through the roof. So you need this. So awesome. Have a wonderful day. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you could share it with your friends, family, and basically anyone who will find the same value in this episode that you did. And to get the latest from me, then let's definitely connect on social media. You can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Dude Agency, or Instagram @dudeagency.io, or you can check us out on YouTube on our YouTube channel. And then, of course, you can always visit our website at dudeagency.io, where you can see all of our other episodes of Operation Agency Freedom. You can also register for any live trainings that we have going on how to run a highly profitable agency. And of course, you can see how we help digital agencies with the people, the processes, and the education so that they can take on more projects and scale profitably. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.